everyone, come on. Right here to Black Power Media. This is the RemiX Morning Show, giving you that boom bap. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor, and let me introduce you to your host today. We got no other than Dr. Jared Ball, Burning Down Kim Brown, and Jackie Lukman.
More fire.
Turn it up. Turn it up.
Yeah.
Shout out to More Fire. We haven't seen him in a minute, Dr. Keto Swan. I hope he's all right out there in the universe. Speaking of More Fire. And greetings to all of you. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Revolutionary greetings, all of you Africans of a multiplicity of shades.
Ooh, I like it.
We people
There it
who
is.
was darker than blue. Yes.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I had a Curtis
Go
just
ahead,
hit me right
go ahead.
there. Curtis just hit me there.
yep, that's
Nothing
it.
wrong with
That's
Curtis in the morning.
it.
Shout out to Curtis Mayfield. Yes, indeed. Yes. How you all doing? It's a rainy, snowy, mid-Atlantic morning over here.
I saw certain county schools got closed, Jared. I said, Jared's Mr. Dad this morning, Mr. Mom.
Word.
We're the parents are the only ones up and working this morning.
Yes.
Everybody else
Right
is
on
taking
to
an
the kids.
extended.
Yes.
More
Rest
power
up,
to you.
kiddos. Yep.
I knew them ball
And
children
they're spoiled,
were brilliant.
though.
I knew they were brilliant.
Oh, absolutely. But they're also we've spoiled our children, no doubt. But I think in general, to put on my old man hat for a second, they're doubly spoiled in that when we were kids, you didn't know if the school was closed until the morning of. You had to go to bed with the hopes and the dreams, but never for sure. Now we get text alerts the night before now.
Yeah, you had to
School is
watch the
closed.
local news to see the ticker on the bottom to see
crawl.
which schools were closed. Yeah.
But if you woke up, if school was closed the morning of, I always felt like I lost the night before, having to have gone to bed on time and early.
You went to bed at your
what I
regular time. You didn't get to
But
stay
our
up late.
kids, they knew last night it was closed. So they was, got to stay up late, go to bed knowing there's no school in the morning. We had to wake up all
Took over the TV.
terrified and nervous and start looking at the scroll. Anyway.
Now, did you go back to bed after you found out you ain't had to go to school, or you went outside and played in the snow?
It depended. I was a big snow football guy, so I was always the one on the phone, like, get everybody together.
Let's
there was
get
like
it.
a half inch on the ground. Let's get it, like bright and early. Let's get it. Hit somebody.
Kim looked like she
Anyway,
went back to
what's up,
sleep.
Kamau?
Was like,
Yes, I did. If there was a neighborhood snowball fight organized, I might make an appearance, but no, snow day meant sleep in. Totally.
what did they do in Brooklyn?
Snowball fights. Wasn't like
Probably
a
with
lot
batteries in them.
Right.
Yep.
Pieces of glass in snowballs.
Asphalt.
some glass, exactly. Some ice, or you pick up the hardest piece of ice that substituted the snow. You know what I mean?
My God.
Trifling.
Yeah.
Trifling Brooklynite.
Now, I don't mean to
Rough,
switch,
man.
but I'm mad at both Kim and Jared because yesterday I started watching Black Mirror and I couldn't finish the first episode. B.
You are just now getting around to Black Mirror.
That's my role. My role on the
You
show is
should
to talk
be
about
tight.
things.
That's
My
your
role on the show
penance.
is to talk about things that are like 5 years old, no longer relevant, that kind of thing.
Come out. Now,
But you said you couldn't get through the first episode?
Which
Well,
one did you watch?
I stopped because I was like, I got to get my wife to watch with me.
Yes.
Because
you
it was
were
like that
scared.
kind of good thing. It was like disturbing.
Because you
I'm
were
not
scared.
sure.
It's
I was a
scared.
little scared. And it was the virtual, I think it was the virtual strike thing where basically the best friends go into a virtual world and start through animated character. Yeah. And I was a little like, okay, I wasn't ready for that. But still, like, what the hell is happening? So so I have to watch. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a per episode feeling too. Sorry, Kim.
Yes. No, I was going to say, I feel like I gave you sort of bad advice, Kamau, because I found when I started to watch Black Mirror, someone had posted a chart on Twitter and they were like, don't watch them in chronological orders, watch them as per this chart. And I felt like it was a little bit less intense when I watched it in whoever had designated this particular order. But I feel like if you watch them like season 1, episode 1, and go that way, it's going to be rough. It might be a little rough for you, though, because that shit is wild. Is it not wild? I don't even remember which episode that the one that you're describing, but there's
I
some
thought
wild.
are they not in chronic? I guess the first one, Anthony Mackie.
Oh, see, no, I
Yeah.
haven't. That's
I
the
don't think
newest
that's the
one,
first
right?
one. That's the newer one.
Oh, that's the last season. You
That's
had
the
you
last.
had
Yeah.
the first season.
Oh,
So you haven't seen the pig.
I couldn't get through
Oh,
the Anthony Mackie episode. I've seen nothing. I stopped in the middle of it. I was like, "This, I need company to watch this."
There's
Because it's both disturbing, and then I also feel like I can see that happening. I can see to me.
That was
But I
mine.
wait a minute though. I want to see Kamal after you finished that episode, because they do a lot in that episode. There's a lot of things that happen in that episode, and the ending, I don't know. Anyway.
Just to show you how bad Black Mirror traumatized me when they released those newer episodes, especially the ones Kamal's talking about with Anthony. I didn't even watch that, Joy. I'm like, nope, I'm good. I don't need to see no more Black Mirror.
It did. It took me a minute. It's
There's
like,
another
I don't know
one.
if I want to go through. I don't know. I'm gonna wait. It took me like 6 months to be like, okay, I can do it. Okay.
There's one where it's centered on a Black woman and her family. And I can't remember if that was in that last season, but that ended in a particularly disturbing way for me as well. Like that one, I feel like the way that ended was particularly traumatizing for me. But I can't remember if that was in the museum joint.
Oh, that
yeah. Oh,
that
yeah.
Was really good.
Yeah,
I think
that messed me up though.
I think the sister won an award for that episode, if I'm not mistaken.
I think she
did.
She probably deserved it.
Yeah.
That joint was heavy. I mean, that joint and the way it ends, boy, that's one of the nightmare. That's a nightmare. That boy, that. But that Anthony Mackie one though, come out. I'll be very interested to see how you react to the way it ends, because there's a lot of layers of issues.
The setup was really good.
I
saw all of it. It was like I predict, like this is the progression of life and all that kind of stuff, and then they hit you with the stuff that starts to happen. You're like, it's like what's going on?
Keep watching. Keep watching.
Yeah. So that's not the first. Yeah. Is it? But it's not. It's not episodic, as in it's each episode builds upon something. It's each story.
No. They're all autonomous.
Okay, they're all okay.
But a couple of them are related, though. You know what I mean?
Oh, really?
The museum one built upon a previous episode, right? Because the entity had been trapped in the doll in a different episode.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
so they do kind of a few of the episodes weave in a couple of them, but I don't think you need to watch them in order, though. I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know. Let me see if I can find that chart for you, Kamal.
Pookie said that episode is light. I don't think that's a lightweight episode.
So I got much more disturbing things to look forward to.
Yeah, I mean, considering how the episodes in the first season were just like psychologically damaging.
It's not the heaviest. To Pookie Wood's point, it's not the heaviest episode, but I wouldn't call it lightweight though.
Yeah, but I mean, and like all series, some of the series are better. Some series are better than seasons are better than others. Some seasons are like, well, now that was a waste of time. But
the museum joint and the bees joint. That bees joint is the one that really messes with me too. Those are the two that mess with me more than anything. The joint
where the Bama gets blocked from life.
That was yeah.
And the one where the mother has the implant in the daughter and she's able to see literally all of her moves. I'm like, yep, I can see that on the horizon. Some parents are going to opt in for that as soon as that's available on the market. So
I probably would have signed up for that joint.
You can't know. We are going to advocate on behalf of your children to not have that.
It's too late. It's too late. I don't think you understand.
Look, so I've already been cautioned against this, so I won't go too far. But I will say this: like when we watched not the King Richard movie, but the original Netflix documentary about Richard Williams and the Williams sisters, I thought was really good. And we watched it. I watched it with my daughters when they were much younger, telling them in particular, I want you to see how Venus in this one clip says that when she became a teenager, they knew not even to ask if they could go hang out at the mall and all that other, like they knew. So we're at that point. And my 16-year-old yesterday said, I want to be able to go hang out with my girlfriend on a weekend, just on some random, like no special event, and I was like, I don't know, man. And she was like, she was like, you are doing too much. Like all friends. And I was like, yeah, you're probably right. But I'd rather err on this one.
Probably right.
To co-sign on that. I'd rather err on this side than like, because I was like, look, when you look back at one point and when you're at your 16-year-old life, time, you're not going to be thinking about, oh, I had a great time hanging out at the mall that day.
But
you're not going to worry about all that.
You want her to have those moments, those memories where she had a great time with her friends.
With her family. She has a wonderful time with her family.
Of her parents. Independent of her parents.
No, come on.
She got a whole lifetime for that.
Cut the strings, Father. Cut the strings.
Jared,
and you said you're not an adult even at 18, right? You said not even at 18.
Hell no. They shouldn't be allowed to do a damn thing at 18. 18 doesn't know anything. They shouldn't. No, there should be no 18-year-old drivers. There should be no 18-year-old voters.
This is why you have 25-year-old people who can't drive because they was not driving at 18. You know what I mean? Come on, Jared. We can't hamstring the youth here out of
hamstring them. More surveillance, more tied to the parent, more helicopter parenting.
You cannot socially thwart the development of your children. You can't do that. That's not nice.
I'm holding them back.
And Jared, there's lots to do for kids out in your area. So
we do it. And we do it. We do it all with them. But they're not tied up in the house bored. They just don't get. We just don't. When I see groups of teenagers walking by themselves, I start twitching and getting getting nervous.
You're one of those old black people. Oh
yeah, I'm like, stop. Like, where's an adult? Where's a parent?
Oh,
can't
Lord,
have groups of teenagers walking around hanging out.
They probably commit crime.
They must be.
Jared, you were a latchkey kid and you survived. You survived.
Oh my God.
And thrived.
Barely. But why would I want my children to go through that? Why would I want my children
light
to
a
go
special
through all of that
candle for the children? I don't know who I have to pray to for them. I'm not sure, but I got some work to do, apparently.
You might. Anyway, speaking of somebody who's working though, I don't know where is he back in the barber shop? I think Air Doctor went back to the barber shop.
Hey, y'all hear that? Y'all hear the helicopter? Oh, that's just Dr. Jared being a parent. Oh my goodness. Wow.
That's just the Jared copter.
Yo, yeah, I'm at the barber shop. Y'all need anything? Hey, you got some of them food stamps?
Hey.
That's on the card now, buddy.
Yeah, I got the thumbs up. I got the thumbs up from the higher authority just now.
Oh, word?
That you guys perfectly aligned with.
Still lighting the candle for the babies.
Absolutely, they got wardens.
That's it.
Hey, yeah, I'm at the barbershop, man. We talking top 5 over here, man. We gonna talk about the top 5 football players. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Offensive defense.
I feel like I'm being set up.
Yeah. What's good, everybody? Welcome out. Once again, this is the RemiX Morning Show. I go by the name of the Air Doctor, and y'all tuned in at the right time, the right place, on the right channel. Make sure y'all hit that like, subscribe button, and hit that notification button so you can know when all the new stuff is popping off right here on Black Power Media. Go to patreon.com, and big up to all our Patreons out there that's showing love. Make sure y'all be part of the crew, be a member, and all that stuff right here on Black Power Media. With that said, I'm going to talk about my top 5 football players. That's right. We're going to talk about top 5 American football players. That's right. So we're gonna start off with no other than one of my favorites that did their thing. He goes by the name of Sweet Pea, aka Walter Payton, who had 16,726 yards, 125 touchdowns. Big up to Sweet Pea. They also got an award named after Walter Payton for doing community stuff. So big up to Walter. Next, we're going to take it over to no other than Barry Sanders. Come on, Barry Sanders was a beast, even though Detroit was trash rap. He did his thing. Let's see. He had about 15,269 yards, 99 touchdowns. So big up to him. Next, we're going to take it over to no other than Jim Brown. That's right. Jim Brown was the man off the field, on the field, and in the movie theater. He had 12,312 yards, 106 touchdowns. Next, I'm going to take it to no other than Emmitt Smith. He was a beast. That's right. He was a beast. Emmitt Smith got 18,355 yards rushing, 3,224 receiving, and 164 touchdowns. He is that dude. That's when Cowboys had a team. And I'm gonna bring it up new school just because I like this dude, man. I like his swag. Marshawn Lynch. That's right. He has 10,413 yards and 2,214 receiving yards and 85 touchdowns. Now, those are my five, but I got to also throw in no other than Bo Jackson, which had a short career of only 2,782 yards with 18 touchdowns. And no other than the man that ran so hard his shirt came off, Earl Campbell, 9,407 yards, 74 touchdowns. And that is my top five, throwing in, sprinkling in a couple too also. That's what it is. So let's get it back to our host. You know how we do. All right.
All right, so let's get to the corrections right off the top.
Walter Payton.
You ain't in class. I don't need no corrections.
Walter Payton.
Walter Payton is sweetness.
Not sweetness.
That man's name was not Sweet Pea.
Yeah, not Sweet Pea. Sweetness
is the late Pernell Whitaker.
You're right.
Rest in power.
That's right.
Who I got to meet one day in a little Norfolk, Virginia. I don't know what it was, little chicken shop, something. I saw him sitting down one day, walked in that joint, said, "Sweet Pea Whitaker." Dapped him up. He was a real cool dude. Rest in power to him, one of the greatest fighters of all time. And he was robbed in that fight against Cesar Chavez, which I watched in its entirety back in the day when I used to be a sports fan. And the other mistake you had is that Barry Sanders is number one. You can tell me to wrap up all you want, but Barry Sanders is number one. Emmitt Smith shouldn't even be on that list. Emmitt Smith had the best offensive line, the best all this other team and all this other stuff. He had an easy setup, and he was on the whack Cowboys. And Barry Sanders is the goal.
I hear a little hate. Continue.
I think Jim Brown is number one.
That was it.
Jim Brown is still number one on football players. I mean, Jim just set a standard. Come on.
Yeah, for playing against weaker competition and throwing women off of balconies.
See, I didn't want to go there. I didn't want to go there. I'm glad somebody else did.
I mean, dig up not on the list. If OJ's not on the list for the murder charges, OJ should be on the list. You're talking about best running backs, OJ should be on the list.
OJ and Tony Dorsett, right? Come on, man.
Tony Dorsett should be on the list, even though he was with the wackest Cowboys, but he should, but when you throw a woman off a balcony,
Eric Dickerson was that dude.
How do you not have Doug Williams, the first ever black quarterback to win a Super Bowl, number 17? Please put some respect on Doug Williams' name out here.
We did say running backs, not quarterbacks.
Actually, you said football players.
Yeah, you said football players.
Football players.
My bad, running backs.
He's come in and correct.
Then he dusted off. He's like, wow.
And furthermore,
he totally said football players, right? I did not mishear that, right?
He did say football players.
Okay.
That's why he left. And then he said he called, and then he called my man Sweet Pea. So, and rest in power to Walter Payton too, man.
I did think he was going to
Walter
do
was
football. I was like, only one I was going to know was Pele. I'm like, Pele, number one. That's all I was going to know.
That's all we know.
It's a shame. It's a shame. That's okay
Pele.
because when we slap this mat, I got some world football news to get to anyway. So how about that there? How
Of
about
course.
that there?
Of course he does.
I think someone's
It's the
calling me.
remix. Let's slap a mat. Yes, indeed. Welcome back, everybody, to the Remix Morning Show here at Black Power Media. About to get into some news. Who would like to go first? Jackie, are you with us? Are you leaving early again to go to some real job?
I mean, I gotta eat.
Shame on you.
Mama's
It's
gotta
shameful.
eat. Mama's gotta feed the dog. I mean, I might have to. I'm not sure yet.
Well, then maybe you should start us off then. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. My story is short. It's sweet. It's silly. I mean, I just found this. Yeah, I could talk about Joe Biden's ridiculous press conference last night, but why? Why would I do that when we can celebrate the fact that our betters have recognized that the poors have it hard? I mean, Janet Yellen, the Treasury Secretary, said in a speech on Monday, on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, that the U.S. economy has never worked fairly for Black Americans, or really for any Americans of color. And Yellen said this as she referenced a part of King's "I Have a Dream" speech. That's not actually what it was called, I believe. But she said that America has defaulted on this promissory note insofar as her citizens of color are concerned. And she said that King knew it was more than a metaphor. King knew that economic injustice was bound up in the larger injustice he fought against. From Reconstruction to Jim Crow to the present day, our economy has never worked fairly for people of color. Then she said there is still much more work Treasury, as in the Treasury Department, needs to do to narrow the racial wealth divide. And then she argued that Biden's economic policies, like the American Rescue Plan, are meant to improve equity. Biden, meanwhile, echoed Yolanda King and Yellen's sentiments, saying it's not just enough to praise King. We must commit to his unfinished work to deliver jobs and justice, to protect the sacred right to vote, blah, blah, blah. I thought this was interesting because, number one, I think this is the first time that anyone in the financial sector and of the government has ever connected economic inequality with racial inequality and admitted, yes, Black people are screwed economically in this country, and King was right. And I think it's the first time a public figure has in a long time has mentioned anything about that speech from King that didn't have to do with the line where he says, one day I hope that my little children will be able to walk hand in hand with other little children and be judged by the content of their character, and not the color of their skin. So, excuse me, although of course she didn't go into all of the details that King provided in that speech about how America has defaulted on the promissory note that is owed us. And of course, she didn't mention the part where he said that we coming to get our check. But I don't know what it is that she is talking about the Treasury is going to do to bridge the racial wealth divide. But because I'm not an economist, tomorrow night, I'm having Dr. Linwood Tawheed, an economist, to come on. And we're going to talk about this because I'm perplexed as to what she could possibly mean by there's more that the Treasury has to do other than
Run me
give
my
us our
check.
money.
Well, maybe you could ask about this thing here reported in Wall Street on Parade last year. She might not have mentioned the check King talked about, but she sure got hers because she took millions in speaking fees from Wall Street. The Treasury Secretary also redacted 73 meetings or phone calls in the first 3 months of office. So maybe you all could talk about a little bit of that as the just be like, well, what's up with that there, Madam Treasury Secretary? Thanks for your comments on King, but
she's like, I never said the economy didn't work well for me.
Right.
Like,
It's
I
doing
said the
quite well
economy
for
didn't work
me.
well for Black, of which I am not.
She's like, and I've trickled that
I am
down to my
fine.
maids and my cooks.
That's
Who are
right.
folks of
It
color.
trickles down nicely. That's it. That's it. It trickles down
I was
nicely.
like,
No,
I was just making an observation. That's
Mhm.
making an
Which they are
observation.
good at.
Don't-
They're always good at making observations. Or,
Yes.
yeah, it's
But
like,
you know
wow.
what though? I think she might be onto something about the economy not working for Black people. I mean,
I think she's discovered. Yeah, I think she's discovered something new there for us that none of us realized before.
thank you, Jen.
It's always good when people in positions to make changes figure something out for
That's
rhetorical speeches. Yeah.
Usually it happens after they leave office and they think about
yeah.
all that, wow, there's still so many problems. Why didn't I do
Oh, yeah.
anything about it when I was there? I don't know.
Give her flowers now.
Hey, but that's 73 conversations though they had that were redacted that in which maybe there was a substantive discussion about how the economy could be more helpful to Black
Yes.
people and others.
And she doesn't want us to know because she's right in the middle. The wheels are turning. She's about to turn the ship around, and she doesn't want to break the secret negotiations. I'm
That's
sure
right.
that none of them have anything to do whatsoever about her pay for her speeches. Like, what do you mean $1.5 million? That's not enough. You know who I am? You know who I am? You better raise that $2.5
all the work
million.
I did to get here.
You know what I'm saying? I'm giving you a 20-minute speech. What? And 3 minutes.
Biden brought her back.
New. Exactly.
She was there. Trump removed her. Biden brought her back. So, in the interim, she was probably telling him, Trump ain't gonna be in office forever now, homeboy. I'm gonna get back in that joint eventually.
You're gonna want that
And then,
access.
so you want so let's kick up that speaker fee.
Yep.
Because
And don't forget to say something nice about the Blacks.
Exactly.
Because that's what she was saying. That's what she was saying. She said, "What has two thumbs and has the economy work well for her?" Then give me my money.
I mean, but Jackie, like you touch on something because the nauseating way that neoliberals and politicians and even these goofy conservatives and these bourgeoisie Black folks, the way that they just go out of their way to misinterpret and misrepresent Dr. King's words and his intentions and the stuff that he actually stood by, and cherry pick all the nice, don't worry, be happy kind of rhetoric. It's like, aren't y'all tired of doing this? Like, is this we can just expect this every single year for the rest of our lives, that y'all going to trot out Dr. King on his birthday, misrepresent him, and while holding him up at the same time, but you're holding up this very, like, this shadow version of who King was. Aren't y'all tired of doing this shit? Like, aren't the King
and my
family
favorite
tired of
line.
this?
Did you all hear the line this week? I actually have not, but I'm sure somebody said it when the right wing says, but King was always saying it's about the content of character, not the color of skin.
Yeah.
So stop asking for specific Black policies.
Right.
Listen to your own leadership. That was always my favorite one.
Oh yeah.
My
And
new
we killed.
favorite one, though, is where all the white alternative left media outlets bring in all of their Black friends.
Right,
around
for
holiday.
MLK Day. For their
So you can
MLK
start
Day
seeing them
shows.
pop up, like some of our friends even pop up on other outlets, and it's like, oh wow, okay, yes, it's about that time. Yes,
It's like Black History. It's almost like Black History Month. It's like the precursor. It's like the right before. It's the gear up for Black History Month.
And then they do one
And then
show on the 27th.
Yeah.
Yeah. A
It's
segment,
like, let's
maybe. A
talk about
segment.
King. Let's talk about race and the economy
Hey, I'm
from a
wondering
right
what's
left
the next
perspective.
hidden Black historic, racial violence moment and incident that America is going to discover next. I mean, it just took America 100 years to figure out what happened in Tulsa, right? for the Tulsa massacre. So it's like, oh, well, what's this year's unknown Black violent incident involving a white mob going to be that no one knew about? Well,
I'm predicting it's going to be Rosewood. I mean, because it's a couple hundred of those massacres. It's either Rosewood or the Elaine, Texas massacre. I'm picking
I think
one
it was
of those
Elaine,
two.
Arkansas. I think it was
Elaine, Arkansas, rather. Yeah. I'm picking one of those two.
And let's remember, the commemoration is always going to be, they're going to build a museum where tourists can come and look at all the death and destruction and pay money and get souvenirs. And then the money goes back to the city or state to keep on with their sort of, the same racial policies that are at the present.
Well, you know what? I don't know. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, in Rosewood, was there a big old business sector where people could say, oh my God, they destroyed the business class too? Because that's why white folks all of a sudden were like, oh my God, they destroyed a town with thriving businesses? It wasn't. Now I'm wondering if there were enough business owners in Rosewood for folks to give a damn.
Wow. But the funny thing about Rosewood, though, Jackie, like if Rosewood is to be the rediscovered event, of 2022, people are going to be like, did you know they made a movie about that? Did you know?
No, but that's good. It'll be good because the generation of our great grandchildren will finally get all the answers to all the police violence happening right now. So this is it's really good, that we're on this path. Kim, you had something that I think a segue to your story is again King is brought up to ease the guilt and the conscience of white folks every year to make themselves feel better about what they can bring out their Black friends. They can talk about all that they've done, but you have a story that's equally about the comfort of whites and needing to center that it is essential that we center
white comfort at all times, Jared. I mean, white people cannot be made to feel uncomfortable in their own country. I mean, that's denying them liberty. Oh, God. Anyway, so WFLA has been reported. This is recent news, y'all, as of yesterday, coming out of Tallahassee. Let me read to you guys verbatim. A bill pushed by Republican Florida Governor Ron DeSantis that would prohibit public schools and private businesses from making from making white people feel, quote, discomfort when they teach students or train employees about discrimination in the nation's past. In the nation's past. So this bill that DeSantis has pushed has received its first approval. It takes aim at critical race theory, though it does not mention it explicitly. Florida's Senate Education Committee approved the bill on party lines on Tuesday, with Republicans in favor and Democrats arguing that the bill isn't needed. Now, DeSantis called critical race theory, quote, crap last month and said that he would seek legislation that would let parents sue schools and employees sue employers if they were subject to its teachings. Y'all see where this is going, right?
Wow.
Quote, we're going to be including this legislation, giving parents a private right of action to be able to enforce the prohibition on critical race theory. And they get to recover attorney fees when they prevail, which is very important, DeSantis said. A lot of times these people will fear lawsuits more than a line from the State Department of Education. Now, DeSantis also went on and said the legislation would prevent teachers and school staff from being subject to, quote, anti-racist therapy or critical race theory training. Districts would also be barred from paying CRT consultants with school funds. Now, according to, I'm not going to define critical race theory because that has been done time and time again, but this is to me the precursor. This could be putting segregation back on the books because the bottom line is white people want to feel comfortable and they don't want to be made to feel like they did something or they should feel some sort of white guilt for all the racial atrocities committed by their foremothers and forefathers. They didn't do that shit. They didn't own no slaves. Why should they be made to feel guilty with all this knowledge of actual history and factual events? You shouldn't put that on white people. They're too fragile, okay? The snowflakes, right? You can't make them feel bad. So the fact that DeSantis is trying to codify this into law, I mean, not the segregation part, because I mean, I'm being tongue-in-cheek there because, you know, segregation is where white people felt the best, right? Like, woo, we don't have to see no niggas unless they work for us. This is great. This is wonderful. But this is interesting and serious, and I think this is taking aim at diversity trainings, diversity and inclusion, workshopping that, you know, some businesses and corporations engage in to identify, you know, systemic issues of inequality. I don't know how I would feel if I lived in Florida, knowing that, number one, this man is a total fascist, right? DeSantis is terrible out here. But if I was a teacher in Florida, if I had a student, if I had a child enrolled in Florida schools, or even if I was a Black-owned business and I wanted to do something pro-Black, is some random white person going to come off the street and try to sue me? Like, what? So I just wanted to drop that on y'all's timeline this morning. So Florida.
So this is like the sidekick to Florida's stand your ground law, right? So if white people are uncomfortable in a physical sense, they can shoot you. And if they're uncomfortable in an intellectual sense, they'll shoot you with a lawsuit.
Right.
So it's just like this full protective, you know, to your point about the comfort and protection of white folks. This is bananas, even for Florida. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, but you know, the lawsuit part, and this is why, you know, I hope that people were paying attention to what they did in Texas down with that abortion bill. The lawsuit part was done because Texas basically got away with, well, you know, that they're trying to pare that back, but because Texas got away with deputizing citizens to sue doctors who perform abortions. So now every other GOP governor is going to try to pass a bill like this to deputize citizens to sue people that they feel like are violating these laws that these people are going to make up. And it's going to be about a little bit of everything. And I mean, if the Democrats had spines, they do the exact same thing. They would do the exact same thing, but they're not going to, because they when they go low, we go high. No, get right down there in the gutter and start slinging it with them. I do not understand the lack of democratic response from, you know, to this kind of garbage. And you know, Kim, to answer your question, how I would feel if I was living in Florida, I would feel like I'm moving. Me and my family, me, if I had kids, we leaving, we got this, no, this one. But I feel for teachers though, because I mean, they're being accused of teaching something that doesn't exist in K through 12 education, that you literally have to pay tuition in law school to learn, to even be exposed to. And it is unfortunate that.
Well, you talking about critical race theory? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. But they don't know what that is. It's just a catchphrase.
I know they don't know what it is, and they're it's just talking about Black folks. You know, it's just talking about, it's telling the truth about history, and they don't want to do that.
Jackie, you know, well, everybody, but you know, the new Republican governor of Virginia, Glenn Youngkin, signed an executive order outright banning the instruction of critical race theory in public schools, even though many people have said to him, it is not currently being taught in public schools. He didn't care. He signed an executive order banning it anyway. But what does that mean though? Like, how does Black History Month look in public schools with all these executive efforts to curtail critical race theory. Like, are they even going to learn anything about slavery? Like, are they going to learn anything about Reconstruction? Are they going to learn anything about colonialism? Like what is left? Not to, I mean, again, we're all in agreement that critical race theory is not being taught, but we know that's not what they mean. They mean any history that makes white people look bad, which is all of history, right? So, what is going to be allowed to be taught to students come history time?
I have a dream. That's it. That's it. I did the I have a dream speech and maybe a little bit of Frederick Douglass. Maybe.
Listen to me, the both of you. Enough. I'm interrupting. Enough of this nonsense, because what they will be learning, all they need to learn, is that all is good in the Snoop verse and in the digital spaces that they can go into. Don't worry about some damn slavery and what happened once upon. Get your black self into Snoop versus world and get on some digital land. He's already sold $500,000 worth of virtual property to some big investor in his Snoop verse, and get in your NFT game. That's what you need to do. I mean, enough with the complaining and the whining. You're down there in Florida already. All those good people in Florida. You got Ben Shapiro, your thought leader, like laying the groundwork. And then you got Snoop coming through, just so that black people have some direction and some hope, and could get in here and get your crypto on and your Snoop verse on. Now, I think I misspoke the other day. I'm actually a little confused, and I need to continue to do some work on that. I'm a little confused about where these verses are, because initially I thought Snoop's verse was within the metaverse of Mark Zuckerberg, but then there's discussion of the metaverse. So I'm wondering if there's the metaverse writ large, where all of this just is in the digital version of the universe, and then there's the specific metaverse of Zuckerberg and Facebook. And then there's I'm not sure, so I'm not entirely sure, but I just wanted to redirect all of you away from all of this CRT. You don't need to worry about it. You just need to. And then I even have a better one. Can I show you all something? Yeah, I got. Can I try to show you all something?
What is it? Let's see.
Hold on a second. Wait a minute. Oh man. See, I was trying something new here, and some new setup here, but I think I can pull this off. I would like us to check out this. Let me see. Can I make this happen right here? Let me see here. I want you to see. Yeah, let's see if we can make this happen right here. Let me see. I think I can do this. My bad, everybody. Trying some new stuff here. A little new setup. But this is actually so this is my new favorite YouTube channel, by the way, RM Brown. I think you're all seeing that there, right? Yeah, RM Brown. And if I can, just for the moment, I'm going to solo myself to get the full, so that everybody can fully see what's happening here. But check out what's coming here.
Facebook says political content isn't popular on its
platform. Can you all hear this?
No.
Oh, you don't hear it? Oh, my bad. Okay. Sorry, I thought I had figured that out. Oh, man. Okay. All right. Hold on a second. That's too bad, too. Hold on a second. Let me just.
Is that
my bad.
No, that's
no. This is RM Brown. All right. That's RM Brown. Okay. And he is my bad. Let me get myself back in there. He is, and let me unsolo myself there. Okay. He is the host of his YouTube channel. And I thought we had tested this before. Ear Doctor, I thought we had tested this and it was working before. Why is it not working now? Anyway.
That annoying tiny little blue box.
Well, no, but see, I'm using a whole different setup this morning, so I thought I had avoided that because I wanted to be able to. But what I'm going to do is just bear with me, because I would like us to check this out, because it's so. So what I'm just going to do is go back to the old school way here and bring this up, because what this guy, first of all, this is my Jimmy Dore replacement, by the way.
Hey,
now
what's
that
up with
now
your
that
man?
Ji-
Hold on, real quick.
Yeah,
What's
go
up
ahead.
with your mans? What's up with your mans?
So for Jimmy, for me, where I love. So first of all, I already said, like, last year when Jimmy started doing when he started doing all of his when his favorite black guest was the Fred Hampton leftists.
Mhm.
I kind of tuned out from that. I kind of lost interest in that. But then when he went full, well, he won't describe it this way, but when he went full anti-vax, I kind of like all of his content lately is basically about Fauci and the vaccine.
Yeah.
And I think his methodology is bad, and I think his research is flawed. And so without getting into that debate, I was like, enough. Then I found some folks who were being critical of him, and this is where I found this guy and found this piece that I want us to look at here. So that's and this guy is another comedian in Austin. He makes fun of Jimmy Dore a little bit. He really takes shots at a lot of the alternative white YouTube space, like Ben Shapiro and Tim Pool and all these people.
I have been vindicated.
Yeah. And he's got this. Anyway, he does a lot of. I haven't actually laughed this hard at a YouTube thing in maybe ever. This guy, I think, is hilarious. But this piece that he's found here, and then he's a self-described communist, so he's a comedian comic in Austin. But anyway, as someone who covers things that I don't normally watch, I this is why I like to watch this kind of stuff. So when he starts talking about this,
Heracles made this app they didn't
Zuckerberg thing.
That dude, I don't even want nothing to do with that. Feeling a little bit sorry for the Zuck dog lately because his company, which is called
Uber Cars,
has come under a lot of negative press lately. The Wall Street Journal, what was it, like a month ago, published this big thing, this big leak of documents. I'll read you just a few of the headlines. Facebook.
Let me just.
But Ben Shapiro and right-wing figures still trend daily. Facebook published a new report on Wednesday in which it argued political content is not what performs best.
Here we go.
And
let me get to the metaverse,
checking it out. Please join me here in the new world. So I get it. We got to get out of this. We got to get out of this thing. This is one of my favorite parts of the whole meta.
Here we go.
Chuck Zuckerberg video. This is probably my favorite part of this whole Mike Zuckerberg's video. Is he keeps talking about this after party, like there's an after party that you would go to in the metaverse.
So this was my real hook, by the way. That my after party idea is being jacked as well. That's
an after party that anyone could go to, no matter where they were.
This is wild.
Oh my God.
Woo! That's just like a real after party. See that glitchy ass Shrek avatar over there? I think he's gonna get it tonight. Ooh, girl, you see that glitchy ass Naruto character that just walked through a wall because he has a really slow connection speed? I think he's gonna get it. I think he's gonna get it tonight at the after party. Woo! Okay, guys, I didn't want to get into this, but I actually went to an after party the other night. Things got a little crazy, and I got some video of it. Here we go. Hey, Shrek, where's my money? Ah, God damn! The feeling of wearing a VR goggles. Like, I'm going to an after party, and then just like in your home, you're just in your home alone with this thing strapped to your head. It's never going to leave the vibe of one of the most terrifying, I would say horrible videos of all time, which is the silent disco. Here we go. Weird. So if they could get some sleek little glasses like this, or like this, like a little like that, maybe it'll work. But with this big ass thing strapped to your head, I think it's going to be a novelty for a while. I think. But
all right.
Zuckerberg, look, this is the meta after party.
Oh, boy.
But that's what we have to look forward to. And when you get there, eventually you're going to see, like at Snoop's, they had Richard Aoki, the DJ, was in his virtual DJ thing, DJing, or is being promised to be there DJing. Or I think they had like some big sale in Snoop's verse at the end of last year. And you could go in and see DJ Aoki and like, that's what, you know.
Oh my God.
I mean, do you have to be over the age of 40 to actually be able to remember what an actual party was? I'm talking about like when people were not you know, like, you know what I mean? I'm talking about where you go in with your hair done and you leave out with your hair on your shoulders because you sweated it all out.
Clothes stuck to you.
Sweaty.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like, what is this shit? Like, these young people are never gonna understand a real soiree. You know what I mean? Everything's gonna be virtual and in your house and you by yourself.
I mean, I get that, you know, in the middle of this never-ending pandemic, you know, that can be a little dangerous. But I mean, what's going to happen when the pandemic is over, and then people still just going to be hanging out in their houses and the after party? You know, I just. Oh,
again, there's no land out here. There's no resources out here. So everything is digital. That's why everything is invest in some crypto, invest in NFTs, invest buying digital land in Snoop's and Mark Zuckerberg's worlds. Because as that story, I didn't really get into it, but as the story said about Snoop, I mean, this person paid $500,000 to be Snoop's virtual next door neighbor. No. So like, yeah, I mean, that's, so like, and I think, you know, like his little bit here on that video, you know, of, I mean, that part when I first saw it, I mean, it still makes me like walking into walls, like, and all that kind of stuff while you're trying to, you know, pull some date in the metaverse. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I think
the dinosaur is going to get some.
Right. The Naruto that walked through the wall with his shaky live stream. It's like his Wi-Fi. Like that is hilarious. So,
man,
but somebody who is always on point, somebody always on point, who will never be out of style, whose presence we will always need, and who looks like he's ready for the metaverse.
Hey,
is our audiologist. That's it. Get your avatar doing it.
That's how it's gonna be, man. I'm telling you. And me as a DJ, I cannot stand when you go to a party and everybody is on their phone. You play the wobble. They put their phone down, do the wobble, and then go back on the side and get back on their phone. Man, what happened to Kid and Play, man? We was out there sweating. It was a circle. People get in the middle of the circle and get their dance
battle, man. Yeah, no, and then, these kids ain't doing that. Nope.
Hey, and then at the end of the night, we all be like this. Come on, man. Let's get back there. But yeah, that's what it is. So right now I'm doing artist spotlight, as you can see. Spotlights, bam, bam, bam. So let's get to it right here on Black Power.
Get it.
Let's go. Remix Morning Show.
Yeah. What's good, everybody? Welcome out once again. Thank you all for tuning in. And in case you didn't know, we did just drop something in for our Patreons. We got a new video. We're talking about 3 books that influenced us. So make sure y'all go to patreon.com and check that out. All right. So I wanted to give a little spotlight to some artists, but first I want to start off and give some love to a brother that just made his transition, Andre Leon Talley. He was a fashion journalist, stylist, creative director, and editor at large for Vogue magazine. Just made his transition, so big up to him, rise in power and all that. Next, I wanted to take you to a sister around here in ATL that's been doing her thing. She goes by the name of Empress Yana. That's right, Empress Yana. So I wanted to give y'all something to take home with you. And this song right here is called Black Girl Magic. So let's get right into it.
Love yourself. Everything I need is already within me. Believe in yourself.
Doesn't out Pluto.
They call me Empress Yana. I've been down. My skin is brown. I wear a crown. From Chi-Town to ATL. Give me y'all protect the crown. Can't stand the brutality in my community. They getting away with it. When you see me quiet, I'm in my brain playing rhyme games to stay sane. 5'9", long locks, long legs, you do care. I done leveled up, now I'm dripping on them, straight flipped it on them, they stop there. I don't need ice to shine. This black girl magic make it blow your mind. Hey, tell them sis, this black girl magic make it blow your mind. Saw me first walking tall with my fine ass. She in the mall with a Karen and she wanna spaz. She was quick to roll her eyes and grab his hand fast. I'm like, Karen, chill, I don't want your man. We were both some melanin, you would never understand. Girls who both got lots, so I peep game. Yo, this black girl magic drive them Karens insane. You stop and admit it. You be soaking in the sun just to get it. Pump your lips and your ass get wetted. I'm an empress, hell no, I can't hit it. You stop and admit it. You be soaking in the sun just to get it. Pump your lips and your ass get wetted. I'm an empress, hell no, I can't hit it. That black girl magic. You know you got to have it. That black girl magic. You want it. You need it. That black girl magic. You know you got to have it. That black girl magic. You only gotta have it.
Yeah. So that's what it is. That is, go check her out. Go to her social media page for Empress Yana. That's right. She also is a model and also has merch. So go check her out. That's what it is. Now let's take it back to the morning crew. You know how we do. All right. Yeah. Let me get this off screen. And bam.
Right on. That
All
was
right.
dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, real quick before I get out of here, I wanted to know what y'all thoughts about this is right here. They saying that that the weed helps take out the coronavirus, and I'm wondering. I'm kind of wondering, you know, Dr. Jared Ball, is this something to get the economists that have cannabis to make more money at this time now that cannabis is legal? Is this something that they say, or is it just what possibly could be in the herb that could knock this corona
So
out?
let me just say very clearly, very clearly, I don't know.
Okay.
I think it could be easily speculated. Both are true. That the herb it has many positive medicinal benefits. So maybe this is another one. It could also be true that the new legal economy, which is certainly white and upper middle class and rich dominated, could be looking for another windfall. I think all that could be true, but I want to just end where I started, that I don't know.
No problem.
I know. Well, here's what I know. I know that I've smoked weed every single day of this pandemic, and I have not had the COVID yet. So make of that what you will.
Me neither.
I'm slated to get another test today to make it official, but knock on wood, I echo Kim's sentiments.
Word. That's what it is, man. Appreciate y'all. Catch y'all next break. Peace.
Right on.
Hey.
What
did Halima Candy say? I'm sorry, one of our members dropped us something they want us to say. Halima Candy, who's been a member for 9 months. Thank you very much, Halima, for your continued support of BPM. They say, I teach high school in North Philadelphia. Nobody wants to teach/learn Black history, although it's mandated. I am terrified of how ignorant students and parents are.
First of all, shout out to the teachers. Big applause, big Cosby Kid applause for that. And I'm afraid too. I echo. Yeah, I think it's spooky.
Wait,
for sure.
Do you mind expound on that if you could, Jared? I mean, what do you mean by, like, if you agree with her sentiment that she's terrified, or they're terrified of the ignorance of kids and teachers? What terrified in what way? And parents, sorry, not teachers. Yeah, kids and parents. My bad.
Well, I obviously can't speak for how I'm interpreting it. And the way I respond to it is that for instance, when I just look at even what I was just joking about a minute ago, when I look at increasingly so at the media landscape and some of the discussion around certain topics among people younger and older, for that matter. And I look at the way they form their arguments and their analysis, or the methods they bring to put all that together, I am worried. And if they're being fed an already horrific standard U.S. styled education, but in an added and worse situation or context where any radical or critical thought is condemned with great amounts of hostility, making teachers and other people walk away from it. I mean, I think, we're only going to see worse coming out of it. And if students are coming out with less critical thought than they're already being given and less information than they're already being given, and parents are being ramped up and encouraged to publicly at times confront students or teachers and administrators around what's being taught. I mean, I can see a lot of things. I mean, I see some of the videos of some of these school board meetings, as somebody who has had to deal with parents as a teacher, at least briefly. Thankfully, it's something I don't have to deal with as a university professor. But when I taught high school, you have to deal with parents. I mean, and some of the hostility that comes into that. It's a cauldron of nonsense being, cooked up here that I think could predictably lead to just a lot of worsening analyses, conditions, reactions, responses, behavior, all kinds of stuff. So that's at least how I take that kind of, and also this idea that teachers are to be blamed for everything, teachers are the problem, that teachers should be solving everything and being, having worse and worse conditions imposed on them that they have to deal with. So anyway, that's my initial reaction to.
It's really, really, I think it's wild that in this whole conversation of, teachers being afraid to teach, not even Black history, just history accurately. I'm not paying it a close enough attention. I'm not hearing enough from teachers who are like, look, the garbage we're teaching kids, that's lies. And we're not even, I don't even want to teach that crap. So I think it's really interesting that teachers are afraid to teach actual history, not even this thing called CRT, but they're pretty much fine with teaching the lies that as they exist now. I mean, that's I think pretty the fact that there are not enough teachers that I'm hearing coming out saying, yeah, okay, fine, sue us, but this lie that we've been teaching kids, this has to stop. So I just thought that was interesting.
I mean, just looking at the way our daughters have been taught in the public school system here in Maryland, I mean, I think that I honestly think in our situation, at least, I can't speak for all of them, that for the most part, the teachers have done, and even with whatever I feel about the institution itself, I think the teachers themselves have done a really good job. I think for the most part, they are concerned and dedicated adults wanting to improve, and teach and do a lot, and they've been put through some very difficult times. And I feel like they've, even when, I'm certainly not quiet about intervening at certain points when I see things happening. And I think even in those times, they've done quite well in hearing out, my criticism and making even amendments at times around what is and what is not taught or how things are taught, et cetera. So on some level, I think they're doing as good as could be expected. But at the same time, if there's going to be greater, levels of pressure to diminish any kind of critical thinking or history about race and white supremacy or just the accurate history of this country, it's just going to make it harder for them. And then the students coming out are going to be that much more, uninformed. And then these are going to be, and the stereotype they're going to, I'm going through this moment generationally of, again, paying more attention to younger generations, particularly on YouTube and elsewhere, learning what is being said, how it's being framed, et cetera. And I think it is a tragic wasteland out here already. So again, why I wanted to participate in this venture and why we're trying to do this BPM venture is to try to offer up just a little bit more of an alternative. But there's so much madness going on, and if they're going to be educated with more conservatism, less critical thought, less even reflection of any kind on the accurate history of this country, then my goodness.
I mean, but it's an ebb and flow, though, isn't it? Because for one, the teaching of U.S. history, and especially how Black and Indigenous histories play a significant role in American history, like during the late 20th century, people who, for example, were in public schools in South Carolina were being taught about the Northern Invasion as a way of describing the Civil War. So, like, generationally, this country has tried to intentionally misinform its youth, right, about its history. And I feel as though these discussions or these debates around the teaching of history accurately in the American public school system, like that and voting rights, to me always go hand in hand, right? Because the fight to teach history as a reflection of how it was truthfully done, that has always been a struggle, along with the constant battle for Black people to maintain the right to vote. Like, these battles have been happening simultaneously, right? So I see them as very related. as Black people's rights go, so goes the ability to learn the true history of this country. So I feel for teachers out here badly. I mean, COVID notwithstanding, just the pressures that are coming from a lot of these goofy conservative folks. It's got to be very, very scary for teachers, especially for non-white teachers, I would imagine.
But I think you make a good point, Kim, and I think there's something we could. I like the way you actually put that, the ebbs and flows. I think this is a point where we all need to be reminded that any so-called progress has to be fought for, struggled, and defended in perpetuity.
Right.
So if CRT at one point was this intervention into the way the legal world was being educated, or the broader world was being educated about race, then it's the backlash against critical race theory, or just in general discussions of non-white people, the world's majority. Then there has to be a resurgence of movements and efforts. And we all, and younger people included, have to be aware of that, and they're going to have to fight, and we have to support that fight to get it back, or to improve, or to make offer up alternatives, etc. Just quickly though, because if we don't get involved and save the direction we're going in, then we leave people like Cardi B to have to fight for their own. To defend themselves against the way bad journalism and discussion happens publicly. So we need people to be properly educated, so that when they do enter the YouTube world, as apparently Tasha K has, that they represent our brightest and best in the best and brightest light. So I was late to this story, but Cardi B.
I'm so confused now.
Who's Tasha K?
I don't know. Tasha K, I don't know either. She's a YouTuber who is being sued by Cardi B for engaging in what has been described as a malicious campaign. And I'm a little bit late to this news. Apparently, it's a couple weeks old. But in summary, in the trial, the attorney will detail how the celebrity video blogger Tasha K slandered the star rapper with false posts about herpes, drug use, and more alleged defamation. So, Kim, I know both of you are expert journalists who know how to trade in accurate information and to do research. And this is the point about the school system. We need an educational process that will prepare us to go become YouTubers. And if we're going to talk about Cardi B and others, we got to do it right. Otherwise, we leave it to Cardi and others to have to come back and sue for their own. So
how much is she suing for? I'm curious. Like, Tasha
that is
K,
a good question.
What's her numbers look like? What's them subscriptions look like, Tasha K?
I am late and behind, and I don't see any of that information in here. I don't know about any of these folks. So
see, that's that bullshit. Who is posting these articles with insufficient facts? You know what I'm saying?
But that happens all the time.
Moving on, we got to talk.
So she has So Tasha K. Oh, this is Fox Soul. Okay, so I thought this was her own channel. Okay, so I thought I was looking for Tasha K.
What's that?
Oh, I actually just learned about that because I got pulled into an interview last year on that. So Fox Soul is the Fox News Black platform.
Oh Lord.
Yes.
We're
So
going
you
to
get a
hell. We're
lot
going to hell.
of a black
people on there.
entrepreneurial talk, a lot of black business talk, a lot
Oh
of the sort
Lord,
of
a lot of
mainstream
bootstrapism. Yeah.
support, and the critical thoughts that are brought on there often involve, why do we support the Democrats when we should be checking out the Republicans too?
Oh, that they are the ones who are going to do Black History Month from now on, and they're going to highlight maybe Harriet Tubman, Martin Luther King Jr.'s "I Have a Dream" speech. That's it, and Carter G. Woodson. That's it. That's all.
Wow.
You might get some black inventors in there. You might get like
Mhm.
the
George
stoplight
Washington
and
Carver.
yeah, you might get
George
some of that.
Washington Carver is what I meant. I'm sorry, not Carter G.
Right.
Woodson. George Washington
Well,
Carver.
yeah, I was going to say they might mention Woodson just because he technically developed the Negro History Week, but
Yeah.
initially, so he might
And
get mentioned.
what's his name? Booker T. Washington.
Oh,
Yes.
no doubt. Come
Yes,
on now.
Booker T. Washington. Yeah, that's it. That's what they're those are that's Black History Month from Fox Soul. Yeah.
Yeah, I would assume so. Yeah, it was interesting. So I was not invited back.
Oh, Gerard, take that as a badge
Success.
of honor.
Not invited back. So
You must have done good then, sir. You must have done really well.
Well,
hurt their feelings
just
so bad they don't want you back. That's what you
and like my godfather Tom Porter says, I'm never surprised when they ask me to leave. I'm only surprised by how long I've been invited to stay. I would like to, speaking of journalism and interviews, I got hit on this on Twitter. I would like everybody's help here. And I'm going to ask all of the remixers to get involved and hit some tweets on this, because Bomani Jones, are you all familiar with Bomani, ESPN reporter, radio TV host? He apparently went on Twitter the other day and said, who would you like to interview me, print, podcast, whatever? And somebody, What Up Doe, shout out to What Up Doe, said, I would love to hear you being interviewed by I Mix What I Like, Dr. Jared Ball on Black Power Media. And shout out to Gabe Ship, who co-signed that. So I'd like some others to co-sign it, because I actually used to listen to Bomani's radio show. I haven't seen him in a minute. I don't know if you all check him out anymore or at all.
No, it's been a while. I completely forgot about the dude, actually.
Well, I did too, actually, because he got moved off the radio show I used to listen to. But I used to think that he did some of the best. Honestly, I used to think he did some of the best commercial media space public discussion around race and sports and politics. I thought he did as well as could be expected for an ESPN host. So I would actually be very much interested in hosting a conversation with him on here. And my first question would be, what's up with your boy Stephen A. Smith site?
I don't think anybody can sufficiently answer that question.
I'm just playing. I wouldn't do that. Site Bomani, I wouldn't do that.
Tap dance for that 60 million. Isn't that what Stephen A. just got?
I would so do it. Like, how do you operate in the same journalistic space as Stephen A. Smith, and how do you keep that smear of the Stephen A. Smith sports commentary off you? How do you do?
Well,
you
the
think this is
interesting
what
thing
Smith
about
was doing for the money, Kim? Is that what you said he was doing for the money? That's what Stephen A. was doing for the money.
Tap dancing. Hit me with that Donald Duck gif. Tap dancing. That's Stephen A. Hey, 60 million, Dr. Jared Ball, you might be out here tap dancing too, son.
Act a fool for that 4%.
I'm a fool. That's all it took. You start dropping them 6 zeros on it, I'm out for real. It'll be I'll be over there with Roland Martin talking about you better vote for the Joe Biden or you ain't black.
Jared would show up on the joint on Fox Soul with his Biden Harris 2024 shirt.
Absolutely.
On.
Hell yeah.
Campaign poster in the background.
Vote for Joe.
Reform.
Yeah. All of that. I'll do all of that.
Oh
Put
my
some
gosh.
zeros on it. Anyway, where are we? I lost track where we are. Is the ear doctor ready? I feel like we need some saving. I feel like I need saving. We do have some other stories to get to, and we have I'm not even sure. I thought we were going to have Balagoon this morning, so we'll have to double back on the technique of the week and shout out to him and that crew. Hope all is well there. I think we also have a guest coming up, hopefully in a little bit, to talk a little bit about West Africa. But we always got on point the ear doctor. So what's up, brother? Audio.
Hey, I wanted to show y'all some Black Power media things that's going on. So first I wanted to get to this. Did y'all check this out? Jay-Z and Meek Mill are attempting to pass a law that will not allow rap lyrics to be used in a court of law.
I like that.
I like that, right?
Totally. Because a lot of people have been railroaded off some stupid shit behind some lyrics that they spit in their mama's basement, and they held it up as evidence. Like, bitch, what?
Like, go get Steven Spielberg. Go get all these other authors that write about violence and this, that, and the third, and be like, oh.
Talk about Stephen King. Stephen King would have to be buried up under every prison.
You know what I mean?
They would have to build another prison for Stephen King.
I like that. I usually
frown
frown at Jay-Z and Meek Mill because I know that they bought Patriots owner Robert Kraft like a Bentley or something real. They did some real coon shit. So I like that this is some anti-coon shit. Yes, come through.
Kim, you can't have Robert Kraft go into his sex work operation, massage parlors in a beat down car. Come on. It's some Uber regular. He needed, you gotta have the
represent.
Hey man, y'all gotta realize Jay-Z plays chess, not checkers. Anyway,
how you buying a luxury vehicle for a billionaire? How is that playing chess? Y'all need to stop.
Oh my gosh.
Word. That's what it is, man. Big up to everybody out there listening right now. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, and all that stuff. And if we get 200 viewers at this time, I will do a mix at the end of the show, so stay around. In case y'all didn't know, guess what? I also do The Doctor's Office. This is a show right here on Black Power Media, and I got to sit down with a sister that goes by the name of Kelly Jo Ray, and we got to chop it up and talk about colonics. That's right, colonics. But in case you didn't know, I also have other questions. And I had one question for her, and I would like to know what y'all thoughts are also on this question. So check it out. So since we're talking about music, I got questions, I like to play around with. Here's a question for you. You got two artists coming to town. You can only see one. One is Jill Scott, and the other is Erykah Badu. Which one are you gonna go see?
That is so hard. I was like, oh my gosh. If I'm balling, I'm gonna figure out how I can go see both of them.
See?
I'm gonna try to see both of them. But honestly, if it was present day, I love Erykah Badu. I have seen her multiple times, and they're very memorable. The first time I saw her live in concert was at the Fox Theater here.
That's right. So make sure y'all check that out. Like I said, we talked about colonics, what they do for your body, and all types of other stuff. So check that out on The Doctor's Office. And that's what it is. So let's go ahead and get back to our hosts. You know how we do. Come on.
That was it.
Yeah. Shameless plug.
That's all we got.
I thought we were talking about colonics. How do we get into Jill and Erykah? I'm sitting here looking forward for a conversation about colonics. I'm like, yes.
Hey,
colonics.
that's why you got to go check out the whole episode. Duh.
Oh, my bad. Excuse me.
Nah, just playing. But what would you do? Will it be Jill or will it be Erykah? You would go see.
That's almost an impossible choice. I'm 43 years old, a Black woman. How you expect me to choose between Jill Scott and Erykah Badu? That's not even a reasonable choice. Because I'm telling you, Jill and Erykah, they don't miss live. I've seen them both live numerous times. They don't miss. So that's hard. That's impossible. I'm gonna go with what the sis said. If I'm balling, I'm going to see both. I'm going to see them both.
Yeah, I've
Agreed.
seen those
yo.
multiple times too, and I agree. They don't miss. And I was trying to think. The only thing for me would come down to venue and the specific show, because because the times I've seen Erica, she could do a multiple hour show. So you gotta be ready to be comfortable.
Yeah.
So that would be one thing. But other than that, yeah, I'm trying to let's ball out and go to both. Let's do that. Let's do that.
Oh,
Yeah.
And hopefully
Agreed.
Jill and Erica wouldn't even do us like that. Don't come to town
Yeah.
the same night.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Unless we're performing together. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
Exactly.
my God.
Oh,
Woo, child. I'm coming in there with my robe and slippers if Jill and Erica's doing
Some
together.
snacks.
Have they done that since Chappelle's block party? Have they done something on stage together since then?
Not
I
together.
don't think so.
Wait a minute,
No.
they did do that. They did do a concert with Queen Latifah. They was all together. They did a tour together. Queen Latifah, Jill, and Erica.
When was
A
that?
I didn't know that. When was that?
Yeah, this was a while back.
That was before Block Party?
Yeah, this is when Queen Latifah had her jazz album out, so she was doing a lot of her jazz music.
Wow. Yeah, I completely missed that.
Yeah.
Hey, that's why I'm here. I catch y'all
I
later.
wouldn't want to see that though. No disrespect.
No,
Anyway.
I don't want to see Queen Latifah in the jazz album.
Hey, man. And I always wondered why Latifah did us like that. Why was Latifah trying to like make us accept her singing? It's like,
I mean, and I respected the fact that she tried something that, that was not typical for her, and that she has a passion for the music, and just because you have a passion for the music, it does not mean you can perform it well. And yeah, she just could not.
Jennifer Lopez has a passion for the music, and she keeps making us listen to her sing, and I think it's extremely unfair that she does this to us, because nobody asked for that shit, J-Lo.
Nobody asked for it. Stop it. Nobody asked for them damn commercials either. Tell you the truth.
Oh man, Jennifer Lopez is a little
real quick. I wanted to show y'all this too before I go. I had a couple things that was just a little funny to me, so please check this out.
Well, the concern is misplaced, because if you look at the statistics, African American voters are voting in just as high a percentage as Americans. African American voters are voting in just as high a percentage as Americans.
Just in case you missed what Mitch.
I'm gonna leave on that note.
Just in case you didn't know exactly how they think of us.
Oh yes,
there
child.
you go.
Listen, I'll never forget. Real quick, so y'all know I grew up in Howard County, so I had a lot of white classmates. Saw one of my white classmates. This is in high school, I guess, at the Orioles game, and we out in the outfield. We were out, I guess that's right field in Camden Yards, and he was white, and he said something to me about, gosh, Oakland doesn't have any Americans on their team. They got Jose Canseco, and like he started listing off people who are American nationals, but they were not white. And he's like, they don't have any Americans on the team. I'm like, they got tons of Americans on the team, sir. You're just racist as shit. You are just racist.
I mean, if you ever wondered why we still have to fight for our rights, there you go. Yes. There you go. Because American actual citizens of this country, don't have to fight for, but we do. So
and look, I make a lot of jokes about world football and all of that, but that's another place where you see the same thing happening. I mean, this is a global issue. So I make a lot of jokes about the French national team being a Pan-African team. The whitest player is an Algerian. You know what I mean? Well, except for Greece. So they got one white player. They got my third cousin. They got one white player on the team. And you read, you pay attention to like some of the comments and the fans. Like the fans notice this, like to the point made in that clip. They're aware of it, and they're like, we want to. It's like that whole thing of we want to cheer for our country, but not like this.
Right.
Like, we won the World Cup. we won the World Cup. Thank you, but
could it have been anybody but them?
And that's why during one of the last international tournaments where 3 black players for the English national team all missed their penalty kicks this all came, and the team lost, all of this came out again, where you saw like in the last, and they set this brother up too, the youngest player on the team, like 18, 19 years old, was this brother who missed the last kick.
Man.
And of course, all of the vitriol was like, see,
this is
we
why
had all white boys
making
like
a
this.
kick.
If we had all white boys, did the English, did they channel their American cousins and go burn a cross on their front yard?
Maybe no, they didn't do a cross, but they did the digital version. So they did a lot of social media abuse, a lot of go back to your country, get out of our thing online, and all that kind of stuff. And if I remember correctly, Saka is his name, the brother. I think he said he like went off of Instagram for a while or something like that. Like it was like the levels got to that point, and it took him some time to get his head back together. To get back on track, but they're quick to everybody's quick as soon as some crisis happens. Everybody's quick to remember what team they're on. Speaking of which, though, I had this one story. It's not really politically, but just a quick shout out to the Ghanaian team and the fact that they're struggling. And the Black Stars and the folks are mad over there, and because right now is the Africa Cup of Nations, Ghana's not doing well, and the association called the team in to say, get yourself together and represent us more appropriately and better. So anyway, they got called in. They were like,
Put them back up there. Let me look at them real quick.
Sure.
I'm a fan of the athletic bodies. I'm so sorry.
Oh wow.
Apologies.
And
there we
there's
go. Yes.
Now, to be fair, objectively speaking, this is the sport you will see the least unfit players. So
of course,
in basketball and football, you get a little, get a little gut here, a little bit of this.
Yes, we want a little,
but not
gut.
here.
All of these people are too young and not. They need sandwiches. They need sandwiches.
They need sandwiches.
They're too young and they need sandwiches. They're not. They do nothing for me. Those children. Oh my God.
The ones over 21. If there's grass on the field, go play ball. Okay.
Oh wow.
If they grown. I'm talking about 21 grown, not 18. That's babies. But 21 and over. Shit.
So that's the point I was making, Kim. 18 is too young.
Let's look at these soccer yams. Yes, the soccer yams. Them yams. Woo!
Yeah, I'm not.
Pre-Trump thighs, girl.
I'm way too sedentary to be chasing after. I'm not. Don't chase me. I'm not running. I'm not. Just sit and watch TV. Listen.
Hey. Is that
well?
Hey.
Kim, thankfully, is.
Here, you want a blanket? Here you go. There you go.
Oh wow!
I don't object to the younger men. I'm here for the old Gen Zers and
I'm just like, what are you doing? Calm down.
Why not? I mean, don't all these famous men have barely legal wives and girlfriends now?
They do. Yes, they do.
And why can't you go get you a little
Listen, I don't even have to go get. I'm telling you, the young boys out here like mature ladies. They do.
I'm cool with that. I'm absolutely cool with that. I got no shade for that whatsoever. But I swear, man, they be just wanting to do too much stuff. Let me prove to you, dude. Don't prove nothing. I'm tired. I need a nap. My show is coming on. I got this. I got my food and it. Look, sit down. Just sit down. All right, we don't need to be doing anything. We got a protest to go to in a couple of days. We're gonna do that.
For you, Netflix and chill is really watching Netflix
get
and
off
chill.
That dresser. What are you doing?
Get off the dresser. That's what I'm saying. You just gotta redirect that energy. You send them, get them a list of yard work. You know what I'm saying, baby? Run the Lowe's and go get these things, and then I see you at 3:00 after you.
I was like, oh my God, no, we don't need a special swing. Put it away. Send it back.
Yes,
no,
Jackie. We need a BPM after dark.
Get off the chandelier. Look, sit down. Let me explain how this works.
we need Lukman Nation after dark over here, y'all. Because I feel like Jackie got some lessons to teach us all around these spots. And I think
just make sure you check that Not for Kids box on YouTube.
Hey, already. I didn't even, none of this is for 13-year-olds, is it, Jared? I mean, or all of it is for 13-year-olds, I guess, depending on your perspective, right?
Because you never know.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Lukman After Dark starting Friday night, 10 p.m. See you all then. I was going to say, thank you, Kim, for elevating the show here.
I'm so sorry.
No. I would say by dropping this in the chat because this story that is, by saving us a little bit. Since I certainly wasn't contributing much to that.
Oh, so. Well, that's okay. Okay, so we were trying to have a guest come on today to talk to us about this, and I think that we may have gotten our wires crossed, and that's okay. But I'm a little loath, Jared and Jacqueline, to post this story from this particular source because of whom is involved, right? So France, bastards, right? So literally, going back to at least November, possibly even before. If anybody knows, feel free to chip in. But France military incursions into French-speaking Africa, Francophone Africa, Burkina Faso, and in Niger has been escalating. And let France 24 tell it, right? Consider the source. They say that the French are in this case, Burkina Faso, because they are back trying to beat back Islamic jihadists, right? I think that's some bullshit. That don't even sound right, France 24. That don't even motherfucking sound right, France 24. I mean, the long and the short of it is that these African nations, Burkina Faso, Niger, and some, and I believe Mali as well is another former French colony. That France wouldn't be nothing without these places. Okay, France mines no gold, no minerals in France. So in order to maintain its wealth, France has to go to Africa and steal from Africans, and Africans is like, nope. How about this? How about we start dropping improvised explosive devices in front of y'all military convoys? I'm a little loath to even present this story because I don't have the context nor the full grasp of the facts. I just know that people in Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger are fighting back against French military forces. There have been stories that French fighters, soldiers have fired and killed protesters in Mali, as well as in Burkina Faso. Of course, the French military has denied this. In this article, according to France 24, the French army has killed several high-ranking members of ISGS since the start of the military intervention in Mali in 2013. And I think all of this terrorism bullshit are just continued reasons to continue the colonialism, to continue the robbing of the resources from the continent, to head on back up to Europe. And then the Europeans get all mad because these Black people, these Africans, have the audacity to try to cross the Mediterranean to come into Europe to where all the wealth is gone, right? They're like, shit, we following our homeland's wealth back to where the wealth resides. And these niggas got the audacity to be upset about it. So I just wanted to present that to show that to you. I apologize if it is bereft of some critical elements. But again, I don't trust Western media to report these stories factually. France 24, Agence France Presse, I don't trust them. I don't expect them to say that France is still engaging in neo-colonial behavior. No, they're going to frame it as a fight against terrorism, right? Because when Africans defend their own resources away from European robbery, that's terrorism. They're not allowed to do that. That's terrorism. We can't keep allowing that to happen. So yes, this is happening. Y'all need to know that. Yes, and the Malayans want them out. Everybody wants them out. Get the fuck out, France. France can kick rocks. And run Haiti a check while you at it, because Haiti, you owe Haiti lots of money. Lots of money.
Well, where I think where I think you are, where I do agree with the perspective of those media outlets, because I think you're right to be critical of them, but where I do agree with them and find them useful is in telling us the version they want us to know and the version that they want to claim that they are operating from. So I think it's important. So from their perspective, I think they're being, honest in the sense that they're saying we are claiming we're in there to stop these terrorists. Now, to your point, and I was trying to do a quick look because I was expecting maybe to find something at the Gray Zone or somewhere where we find out who really is funneling in the resources to make sure ISIS and Al-Qaeda and whoever is still over there, because it seems like every time we do pull back the curtain, it is the West, it is Israel, it is, they're always involved. And then all of a sudden it's the terrorists that have to be dealt with. But I also, and to your point, where I also don't trust them to explain is something I just, always, like, I don't know what's really going on in Burkina Faso. I have to admit that. So the first thing I just did was check the Gray Zone to see if they had that CIA intelligence connection. They didn't. But then I go to some other, just to get the basics. So for instance, it says in this one fact sheet I'm looking at, the mining sector in Burkina Faso is considered one of the most dynamic in West Africa. The development of mining sector was made possible through intensified investment, the opening of industrial mines, and an evolution of the legal and regulatory framework for the sector. The main resources are gold, zinc, copper, manganese, phosphate, and limestone. Traces of diamond, bauxite, nickel, and vanadium have been recorded in various geological formations. However, gold remains the most exploited ore in Burkina Faso. So, I mean, just stuff like that, I think, is where we start to find the real, but anyway.
I mean, this whole thing about, Islamic extremists or, fighting terrorism, it doesn't matter whether it's France. Fuck France, by the way. It doesn't matter whether it's the United States. Fuck the US, by the way. It's all about the resources in those countries. And what they do is, they go from country to country. Remember, it was the exploitation of the resources in these countries during the colonial period, and then the independence movements in these countries that gave rise to these so-called extremist groups, because the US and its allies, France, Belgium, Portugal, all of these former colonies paid these mercenaries to destroy these independence movements and their leaders. And then September 11th gave the excuse for the same entities to claim that, there are Islamic terrorists all over the place, when really it was the US government and its imperialism messing around in other people's affairs, stealing their resources, that created these groups. So it doesn't matter, the whole terrorism argument really is a cover for neocolonialism. It's the way these former colonial powers use the military to protect ongoing commercial capitalist mining interests in these countries. That's all it is. It's a cover for that. This is not to say that there are not folks who, groups of people who are, whatever you want to call them, insurgents, extremists, whatever. But understand that those groups of people were created by the very imperialism that is still going on right now. So it's the same story in every African country. It doesn't matter if it's Mali, Burkina Faso, Chad, the Sahel. It doesn't matter. It's all about the resources.
And I know he was trapped in that cracker ideological space, but Sankara might have been on to something, when he was, he might have been onto something with that socialism, just that's the cracker ideology, but he might have been onto something. Oh Lord. Hey, let's stay on the continent real quick, because Egypt has done something that apparently another thing the US can't do. And I'm wondering, and now as I'm pulling this up, I'm wondering to what extent US tax dollars support this. Because I know, is Egypt still the second largest recipient of US federal support? Is that still true?
I'm not sure.
So I don't know if this is. I don't know if that has been a benefit to them. But shout out to them for a 13% increase in minimum monthly wage. I don't pretend to know the context. I don't pretend to know where. I'm sure that's not enough, but it just stood out to me, the headline at least, given that I believe with Democratic control of all the houses, there still can't be an increase in the minimum wage here. Is that?
Hey,
wow.
Can we get even? Is $15? Is that? How much of a percent increase is that? That's almost a double, right? So that would be a bigger increase than this, right?
You heard Joe Biden just say, I think it was yesterday during his press conference, he doubled down on the fact that he's not Bernie Sanders. He's not socialist. And he said, and it's weird that he singled out Bernie, and it's like, bitch, Bernie ain't the one stymieing your fucking legislation right now. Why are you gonna try to kneecap Bernie, saying you just gonna take a shot at Bernie just cause you felt like it? Oh, okay.
That was just his way of saying I ain't doing shit for y'all. I said it when I was campaigning. I just showed you, and I mean it. I'm not. I don't care what that old crazy dude Bernie Sanders said that we can do. I'm not doing it. That's what he said.
Yes, that's basically what he said. He's like, I'm not here for socialism. I'm not here for none of that. I'm here. What did he say? I'm a moderate, or I'm a common sense Democrat. I'm fucking the quote up, but he said something along the lines of, like, no, I'm a straight up Democrat. Like, I ain't one of them socialists. I don't want socialism. I don't think people should have a living wage. I don't think everybody should have a house. I don't think everybody should be fed.
Oh, homelessness is okay. According to to answer your question, though, Jared, according to the latest data, the World Population Review says Egypt is actually the country that receives the fourth largest amount of U.S. aid. Israel is the country that receives the second largest amount of U.S.
aid. So who's number one? I thought Israel was number one.
Afghanistan.
Makes sense.
What?
Yes. What? Now, how old? Let me see how old this is. But
the war that Biden ended.
Oh, you thought he ended that war? That's cute.
Well, I believe the headlines that they're told to me, Jackie, and I don't appreciate the insinuation that.
Oh, people think that war is over. That's adorable. Oh,
I don't appreciate that, Jackie. By the way, that's the third increase that El-Sisi has given in Egypt, by the way, since he took office. So
our tax dollars are funding somebody else's minimum wage raise, not ours.
And Israelis live pretty well too. So I'm glad to know we can contribute to that.
While they steal land and destroy the homes of Palestinians, the country that they've already stolen. Yeah.
That's all they do is go over there and steal. And they foremothers love stealing.
Kim, did we lose a plug? Did your mic come unplugged a little bit or something? What happened? Am I the only one hearing the difference? Maybe I'm the only one. My bad.
Y'all not hear me?
Oh, you're a little low.
It's muffled or low or something. Yeah.
No. Okay, hold on.
I thought when you said, "Did you lose the plug?" that you meant what? I'm like, well, Jared, why would you?
Mind your business, Jared. Mind your business. Don't worry about my plugs.
Come on.
Is it still low, guys?
Microphone. No, that sounds better. Microphone cord plug. Let me be very specific.
There we go.
Sorry about that.
Hey, listen, Jackie and I are dirty old ladies. You got to be very specific when you're talking to us, because we will intentionally misinterpret what you were saying to turn it into something unseemly. Yes.
Kim and Jackie, BPM After Dark, Friday, 10 o'clock.
My father looks at me and shakes his head, even though he knows it's his fault, because he's oh my God. One time I was visiting my dad, and I was sitting at the table just before I got married, and I was sitting at the table eating breakfast because he made pancakes, because I love pancakes. Mm-hmm. He comes into the dining room. I'm sitting there eating, and he puts his hands on my shoulders and he said, I hope all that noise we made last night didn't keep you up. And walked out the house. I'm like, the fuck, you just ruined my damn it.
Is your dad John Witherspoon? Bang, bang, bang.
Gotta coordinate. Gotta coordinate.
So all of my,
you can't
my
let her
dad,
whip you. You gotta whip the
I didn't steal it. I didn't steal it. I don't know why he act like I did. Like he don't know where it came from.
Holy moly.
Yeah. And then when I got married, him and Abdus would go off and have conversations and they'd be laughing. And I'd be like, what y'all talking about?
Oh, man.
What are y'all talking about?
Oh, man. See? That's how we got Jackie over there.
Yep. I didn't steal it. I just blame my daddy.
Y'all sound like a fun bunch, I have to say. Like,
we're wacky, man. My folks are wacky. They're just I don't know how any of us came out normal, but we wacky.
Real quick, just one more bit of seriousness or semi-serious before we get to the ear doctor and get out of here. I just wanted to bring this up. I don't pretend to have followed this too closely either, but I know as a platform we've been following what's going on in Ethiopia. And since I didn't mention the gray zone, they have this recent story from the other day, how the World Health Organization chief Tedros violated UN rules to advance TPLF interests in Ethiopia. So some names that we're familiar with here on the reporting. Shout out to Ann, go back some years with her work as well as Simon's. So anyway, the World Health Organization Secretary General and overseer of the UN's global coronavirus response has established a shadow relief operation that sidesteps authority of Ethiopia's sovereign government and directly coordinates with political allies in the country's civil war. So sort of like Kim just said, just putting that out there, just something to folks to keep abreast of. And yeah. So
that's what I'm saying. Like we need people dispatched on the continent to come tell us, because it's hard. I can't trust the media. I cannot trust the media. And again, I don't might there be some terrorist elements? Sure, but who colonizers call terrorists is probably not who I would call terrorists, right? Yeah. So I don't know. I need somebody black in there to come on here and tell us what's popping in Mali and Burkina Faso and in Chad, and especially with the French incursion, because I mean they operating just like the U.S. does. Get down and lay down, basically. And and no. So
and I mean,
well, sorry, go ahead, Jackie.
No, I mean, and as anti-imperialists in the belly of the beast, we have to be really, really careful that what we don't do is take sides. We have to let the people who are involved in these struggles tell their story. Like you said, Kim, we need to take our cues from them, from the people on the streets, from the people who are engaged in these struggles. We should not be the ones who are telling folks, these are the good guys, these are the bad guys. From our perspective, the bad guys are always the imperialists. Totally. If there are people within these communities, societies, countries that are on the side of the imperialists, then we are certainly on the side of the people. But we take our cues and our marching orders from the people. It's not, I don't think it's our job to sit there and project to other folks. And this is like the struggle that, we had to deal with Black Alliance for Peace. While we are supportive of, the Ethiopian people, the people of Sudan, in their struggle against imperialism and the way imperialists use the TPLF as a tool, we have to be careful that we're not sitting there, co-signing on people saying, oh, we support Abiy, or, we're against the TPLF. But no, we stay out of those discussions. We are against imperialism. So we want the US and Western forces and France and all of these former colonial allies. We want those forces out of these regions. And then where the people say they want our support, then that's where we will be. And we have to be real careful that we do that. And that's why I agree, Kim. We need the people to tell us what is going on there, as opposed to us, trying to, project our expertise, sitting here from the belly of the beast, not on the ground at all. We have to be careful not to do that.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Right on. Thank you for that. And looks like we are almost at an ear doctor closing mix number of 200. I don't know what he has decided. He's waiting in the wings, brother. Ear doctor, audiologist, what's going on, my man?
Hey, nothing real quick. While we are waiting, I did want to bring this up and show y'all what we got offered on Patreon real quick. We talked about 3 books that influenced.
That's right.
So I wanted to let y'all get a little bit of what one of our brother Kalanjis was talking about. Let's go.
Brother Kalanji.
What book do you have?
Gentlemen.
Number 2.
Yeah, cool. For my second book, I might go with I think I'll throw some Mao up there. You know what I mean? Maybe on protracted struggle. On protracted war.
All right, that's just a little bit. I can't give y'all too much, but since we got Kim and we got Jackie here, do we have a book that influenced one of y'all that y'all can let the people know about?
Kim?
A book that influenced me to what exactly?
In your life that you be like, yo, you should check this book out.
I mean, in my life, the book that probably had the biggest impact on my life was easily the autobiography of Malcolm X. And the reason it had the biggest impact on my life, I think, is because when I read it my freshman year of high school. And I read it like September or October of my freshman year of high school. And after I read that shit, I was done with school. School was over. School was finished. School was finished in the 9th grade after I read Malcolm X. Because I'm like, oh, but look at Malcolm. Malcolm self-educated himself. I don't need this colonialist shit. Get me out of here. So that had the biggest influence on me. I would say that, that probably radicalized me at a relatively young age. So
nice. What about you, Jackie?
Probably kind of a toss-up between, because I read them at like the same time. Walter Rodney's How Europe Underdeveloped Africa and Chancellor Williams' The Destruction of Black Civilization.
Nice.
Couldn't tell me shit after I read those.
Hey, and you know what is funny? But do you know what's really funny about that, Jackie, that you said that? I'm just in reading. Did you know that Rodney hated on that book? Yeah.
He didn't like his own book?
No, I think he hated
Walter Rodney hated on Chancellor Williams' book.
Oh, he what? Really?
Yeah.
Versus.
Versus. Yeah. Oh man, I don't know if I'll find it fast enough, but yeah.
I know. Hey, Jackie, no, that book, yeah, that was a game changer for me too. I ain't gonna front. That
Walter, man, I couldn't. I'd be walking down the street gritting on him like, you dirty bastard.
Yeah, in here, in Rodney Speaks, he has a line where he's talking about the limitations. I think he's in the context of limitations of nationalism. Oh man, now that's happening. I'm probably not gonna find it fast enough, but yeah, I was shocked by that. I would want to talk more about that. I'm very curious. There's a couple things he says in here that were I think interesting and worthy of discussion. But he does say, anyway, I'll of course find it at another time.
I gotta read that book because I gotta figure that out.
Wasn't Destruction of Black Civilization, wasn't it more just about a history? I mean, what are you gonna go against on that? It's like MC beefs, man. They don't like somebody else to get on their platform.
I mean, you could. I think not that I'm saying it's right or wrong, and I'm not saying that this is what Rodney was doing. You could argue with its interpretation of that history. You could argue with its support for its claims. I mean, one of the problems that Williams and others got, they didn't have sources. They didn't list their sources in those books.
True. Yeah.
So like that's another.
His beef was more against viewing history through a nationalist frame, I guess.
Probably.
Yeah,
But of course,
yeah.
I'm not finding it. But I just was shocked that, first of all, honestly, I was a little bit shocked to see a reference to Chancellor Williams in a Walter Rodney book. I mean,
Yeah,
that's where I was a little bit, and he doesn't stay on it. It's just a passing kind of, like this is like the shortcomings of nationalists, something like that. But I will find it and come back to it, or maybe somebody in the chat already knows more about it. But anyway, just
so Jared, was one of your books the Bible? Was that one of your most influential?
In a way, yes, because from a very early age, my mother encouraged me to read the King James version because she said it's one of the best written, most beautifully written pieces of nonsense that you should ever. But that's literally, and I don't even mean to be disrespectful. That's literally how it was introduced to me. My mother was like, "You should read it because it's beautifully written. It's just nonsense."
But
but yeah. So
I think that's all of
our.
Here
it is on page 119. In my own opinion, the book by Chancellor Williams, The Destruction of Black Civilization, was and still is being pushed because there is an ideological current called nationalism that seems to regard this as a very important text. So I take that as hateful, he says it offers a certain scope, so let it be advanced, let it be read. It is one of the currents of the Black community, and we can then counterpose it to the work of Lerone Bennett Jr. Lerone doesn't call himself a Marxist, but one of the greatest things about Lerone's work, because it's honest and comes from such an essentially humanistic position, is that as a historian, he moves much closer to our materialist perception of reality in this country than many others who start out by calling themselves Marxists. And he's talking specifically of the great book by Lerone Bennett Jr. called The Shaping of Black America, which I would encourage people to read as well. But I just thought that was interesting. I had never seen that before.
All right, no, it's not so terrible. Okay,
it's just it's just a little bit of hate, and then he keep it moving. That's all.
Okay, all right. I can go on with my life now, unmolested.
It might not have been It might not have been historically always accurate, but it sent me on my travels to want to learn more about the history. So that's what I would say definitely did for me.
So. Yeah,
I agree with the part where he says in that book that we don't look at history in long enough strands of time, and we miss patterns that repeat by looking in too narrow. And then, of course, his point was that white people never like Black people.
Yeah.
And should never be trusted by Black people. But
got a point.
Good morning.
Welcome to Remix Morning Show, y'all.
Y'all have a great day. Y'all have a great week. Deuces. Peace.
Hey, look, I'll be on tomorrow morning.
With
Brother Kaba, sorry, in Luke My Nation tomorrow night, right?
Oh yeah. So I'll probably join you tomorrow. Jared, you and Brother Kaba make trouble in the morning, and tomorrow night I really am having.
Hold up, Jackie. Hold up, Jackie. If Jackie's coming on in the morning, we need a.
Yeah. What?
but yeah. And then tomorrow night I'm having Dr. Linwood Tawhid, economist, and we are going to talk about that Janet Yellen piece and what that means and all this kind of stuff. And I'm going to have Dr. Tawhid on a regular basis to talk about Blackonomics. I'm not sure what I'm going to call this segment now, but I think it's important.
You just named it.
To talk about economics from a Black radical perspective. So yeah. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m., Dr. Linwood Tawhid on Luke My Nation.
Could I ask? Could you Negronomics? Could you please invite him to discuss this cryptocurrency stuff at some point?
Yes, I can. Yes, definitely.
Thank
we'll
you.
do.
Look at Jared salivating.
Damn right.
Let me go do my job, y'all. Bye.
Bye, Jackie.
Thanks, everybody.
Jackie. Don't invade Ukraine, Jackie. You know Jackie over there working with the Russians.
Yeah, she is.
By the way,
we're already in enough trouble, Kim.
Hey, listen. Russia invading Ukraine is white folks' problems. Those are white people's problems. The white people will work it out amongst themselves.
All right. Hey, Kim, what you got coming up?
Oh, so tomorrow actually is going to be a solo sesh day on Burn It Down with Kim Brown. I've been
you know what that means.
Killing the corona.
Hey, right. Thank you, Ear Doc. Listen,
I like that.
That's what we do. That's what we do.
One toke at a time, baby. I'm staying COVID free.
And Sunday, check me out 8 p.m. for Sundays. I will be mixing up something, so tune in.
Yes, wonderful slate of offerings on the programming side here at Black Power Media. We got a little bit of something for everybody. Shout out to everybody. How many people we do have in the chat? One. Oh man,
we dipped a little bit. People try to slide out. It's like when people see the game ending at a stadium, they start leaving early to beat the traffic. That's all that this is. But that's all good. I appreciate all of you. Thanks to all the remixers and everybody. Shout out to Sister May in the back as well. Yes, and I think I'm with Kim on this. Let's go kill some. I'm about to go kill some corona.
I'm about to go.
Let's get it.